I love working with people that have this pursuit of excellence. And so, but also there's this real struggle with these people because it's like, oh, people don't get me. And I don't relate with the mainstream message or the strategy that most people are using in their business. And I want something different. And so they really value being exceptional and also delivering something that's unique, that's lacking in the market because they want to fill a gap. They don't want to solve a problem that everybody else is already solving.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So I help my clients create a solution. I want to call it solution. You can call it offer, you can call it, whatever you're selling, a product, a service, right? But it's really a solution. That's really the sole purpose of a business, is to solve and make your client's life easier, right? It's to solve a problem.
Hello, my extraordinary women friends. I'm recording this intro right before I head out on vacation, a week living aboard a boat on Lake Michigan. I'm going to trawler school. It's an all new experience for my hubby and I, and we are going to be learning to drive this bigger boat. We're going to get off the small lakes of Colorado, off our small boat of Colorado, and we're going to be taking all the boating tests along with it. We're going to have a certification at the end of the week. And at the end of the week, we'll be out and driving the boat, hopefully on our own, and we'll be able to charter boats in the future. Super excited about that. I hope you are making space to learn something new this summer. And if you are, I want to hear about it. Let me know. Tell me what you're working on. Tell me what you're experiencing. It's such a good time of year to be doing that, to experiencing new things. Our guest today is Nida Laird, the author of One to Millions Entrepreneur. She is a regular contributor to Forbes, Entrepreneur, and Brains Magazine, and has been featured on Business Insider, Fox, ABC, CNBC, USA Today, and other media. Nida is a serial entrepreneur. She's a top-tier business consultant. She self-identifies as a reinvention coach and former Fortune 500 executive with more than 2 decades of experience in business, psychology, and personal development. Nida is the founder of Nida Laird Consulting and Coaching, where she advises world-class experts to become legendary market outliers. And we talk about what that means in this interview. She works with highly exceptional coaches, consultants, and experts who want to build a truly innovative business that stands out from the rest with a one-of-a-kind solution and market position. You're going to love her. Let's meet Nida Laird. Well, welcome to Extraordinary Women Radio, Nida. It is great to have you.
Thank you, Cami. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, and tell us where you're joining us from.
I am in Bangkok, Thailand. So I work
Nice.
with clients from all over the world, but I on Zoom, so everything's online. And I'm here.
Excellent, excellent. And you are a serial entrepreneur. Tell us a bit about your journey into being a serial entrepreneur. What's that journey look like?
Well, after graduating from a master's degree, I actually worked for Fortune 500 companies. I was a product manager, brand manager for several cosmetic cosmetic brands. I worked for L'Oreal. I worked for fast-moving consumer good companies like Unilever. And then after a few years, I discovered that, corporate life was not for me. I needed to create my own thing. My greatest strength is ideation. So I need to invent new things. I need to create. I need to innovate. And, I in being in an environment where there's like a lot of rules and you have to follow this routine didn't work for me. And I'm sure like that's every entrepreneur, right?
Right.
So I left my job and then I started a child development center. And that was when I discovered that I love psychology.
Interesting.
And but going back and getting a degree in clinical psychology and working in a hospital, that wasn't for me. And so it transitioned into from working with parents and helping them learn ways to raise their kids so that they would have high EQ and be resilient, have a great mindset and all those things, transition into working with adults. And there's a really there's always a link between your childhood and who you grow up to be as an adult.
Totally.
Yeah, so
Totally.
that really that's kind of like the linkage between the business that I started like 15 years ago and what I do now. It transitioned into coaching adults, and also I help my clients on the business strategy side, on the branding, on reinventing themselves, their personal brand and their business,
Hmm.
and also on the psychology side. So it's like business strategy meets psychology. And that's what I do. That's the work that
Oh, I
I
love that. I love the combination of those and why, I understand that journey into why you went that direction. Because, of the pathway that you were on. Why does that make a difference?
well, the I have to say that there's lots of business consultants and business coaches
Hmm.
and in general in the world, right?
Yeah.
But the work that I specialize in is I work with outliers. So
Hmm.
these are the people, and the reason is because I also consider myself an outlier. I know the struggle.
What's that
Um,
mean? What's an outlier mean?
yeah, well, if for those of you that were really into mathematics and statistics when you were in high school or
Yes, on the
college,
edges there.
yeah, it's the bell curve shape.
Yep.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and the normal distribution is the part in the middle where most people
Right.
are in the middle, right? But then you
Right.
have the people on the tails. It's called the tails, like
Yep.
the people that, and I'm talking on the like the far right side, which is like the
Yep.
the 95th percentile. So there were people that have like marks or scores that are like so far from the average person, right? From where
Yeah.
most people are. And so in the business world, what I call outliers are people that are exceptional at what they do. They
Yeah.
strive for excellence. It's just like an inner character. They really value being exceptional. They value quality. And so
Hmm.
delivering their best work to their clients is very, very important for them.
Yep. Yep.
More important than sales. But the quality of the work is actually what brings in the
Nice.
financial stability, the wealth, and more customers, right?
Right.
So I love working with people that have this pursuit of excellence.
Hmm.
And so, but also there's this real struggle with these people because it's like, oh, people don't get me. And I don't relate with the mainstream message or the strategy that most people are using in their business.
Right. Right.
And I want something different. And so
Right.
they really value being exceptional and also delivering something that's unique, that's lacking in the market because they want to fill a gap. They don't want to
Yeah.
solve a problem that everybody else is already solving.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
That makes a lot of sense.
I help my clients create a solution. I want to call it solution. You can call it offer, you can call it, some whatever you're selling, a product, a service, right? But it's really a solution. That's really the sole purpose of a business is to
Hmm.
solve and make your client's life easier, right?
Right.
It's to solve a
Right.
problem. And so we look at creating an offer or the solution by really digging into the and finding the insights. So we have this process where we interview um, the business's clients, past clients,
Hmm.
current clients, and even ideal clients which they haven't been able to work with yet.
Right.
So we're interviewing and we're going into the psychology, into all the problems, into the challenges, and like trying to find a significant problem, an important problem that,
An urgent problem.
yeah, also
Yeah.
urgent, also important, and something that's really like if we could solve for them, it would make a big difference.
Hmm.
And so whether they're like a consumer or a business, like my clients, we really get into that all that insight and then
Hmm.
we ideate from that. So
Yeah.
when we gather all that data, then we can ideate. We can look at, okay, what problems are there and which problems do we want to solve, which problems do we not want to solve, and we integrate that with my clients' geniuses. And most of the times these geniuses are hidden,
Right.
meaning that it has been a competency, well, like we've been unconsciously competent at it. So we don't
Hmm.
know that it's a
Hmm.
strength.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think
I've
everybody can,
seen that. I mean, I've definitely seen that where people don't really realize they have that strength of
yeah.
something because it's
Yeah.
just so easy for them.
Yeah, yeah. And that,
Yeah,
oh, I didn't know that that was a strength. I didn't even realize that because I've always been doing that thing
yeah,
like
yeah,
naturally.
yeah.
So we try to we look for that as well, and then we integrate it with the solution. We look at like, hey, if this is your genius, which is so
Mm-hmm.
unique from the market, like what solution should we create with that?
That's
That would,
nice.
yeah.
I love it. I love it. So give us an example of a of a client that you work with, the industry, the story behind that.
Yeah. Let me think. There's just so many. How about I use my example? Because I feel
Okay.
like my example, I didn't always know that I wanted to do this.
Yeah.
It came from my own frustration as a consumer
Mm-hmm.
and as a business coach working in the, being in this entrepreneurial business world for over 22 years.
Uh-huh.
As a consumer, I was really frustrated when I bought a service. I hired an agency or I hired a mentor or coach or whatever, and they were not able to deliver the service that they promised.
Right.
And I'm talking about even like really high ticket offers that I
Mm-hmm.
bought,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I found that a lot of businesses were really focused on the sales, like get more sales, but they didn't really pay attention to delivering the service. They were just
Mm.
like, after they got the sales, like, I'm done, like, I got the sales. And then the focus was not really, they weren't really putting the focus into delivering the best service and creating the
Yeah.
best customer
Yeah.
experience for their
Yeah.
client, right?
Yeah.
And that's really the core of operating a business because if you don't have customers coming back to buy from you, you don't have
Right.
repeat purchases, you don't have people referring your business, all of that is created from like a really great exceptional customer experience,
Yeah.
right? So that
Yeah.
means delivering a really high quality solution
Yeah.
is really important, not just apart from creating a really innovative solution
Yeah.
and great solution in the first place. You have to
Yeah.
be able to execute it as well.
I love this. And there's some things going on in the coaching industry that I've seen recently where the customer service has totally fallen down.
Yeah.
And it it made me even just stop and pause and like, okay, am I providing all of the support? What's the best support that? And so we've actually got an initiative right now where we're really going in and we're looking at what's that journey once they're within our company. What's that journey we take them through to help them get to where they're wanting to go? And I think, I can look at the successes we've had. I can look at the repeat clients that come back, but I think we can always do better. And so
Yeah.
looking at that, and I love that you call it ideate and then that you're really looking at through that lens because that's where the creativity comes into how do we even do this even better?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
So
also
cool.
collect like the net promoter score. And
Mm-hmm.
we don't just collect the score, but we interview. Like we do like a quarterly interview with our clients. And if my clients are doing it themselves, then they also have to have a person or a team to do all this work. And what I
Mm-hmm.
recommend is that the person that does all this interviewing, digging for the insights, be someone external or at least their
Mm-hmm.
clients need to perceive this person as someone external. Because why? Because people don't like to give you feedback. Your
Yeah.
customers don't want to give you feedback. They don't want to hurt your feelings. They don't want to
Yeah.
tell you that you're doing a bad job here and there, right?
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
that's
human
great insight.
nature. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just human nature.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, like this is why when people don't do this process that we do, this all this interviewing, this digging for the insight, you're like providing the solution and you're selling the solution, and because you're still doing good in sales, you think
Mm-hmm.
that it's still a good product or a good service. So you keep
Right.
selling it.
Yeah.
And by the time you realize that there's a problem, you hit a plateau, a lot of the customers a lot of the clients have already left. Or,
Yeah.
it takes a while for you to realize that, hey, we have
Yeah.
a serious
There's
problem here.
probably this pivot point, right, that happens. And, and I think about the specific instance that I'm thinking of in the coaching world, I think they were just oblivious to it. They were
Mm,
they
yeah.
were oblivious that it was coming and it has just nailed them. So I think that's a really interesting um, take on this is to get that outside listener to hear your clients, to ask the questions, to look at that. I think that's really smart. And you're just building a more solid foundation on the long term.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it. So you talk about the point of divergence in business. What does that mean?
So it's the foundation of marketing is differentiation. So the point of divergence is the opposite of point of convergence, right? The convergence is like unity, union, coming together. And I know that, everyone, when we're starting our business, it's kind of like the safe path to look at what everybody else is doing and just
Mm-hmm.
copy them. And
Yeah.
then if you do it well, then you can,
Back.
yeah, everybody, everybody has done this, right? And, um, and then it creates sales and you have income and then it's working. But then usually when you're growing to a specific point, if you don't bring in innovation,
Mm-hmm.
you will hit a plateau and it will decline
Yeah.
eventually. It's
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's just one of those things that eventually happens, right? So instead of waiting to hit a plateau or to realize that the business is not, you're not selling something unique anymore, or like, oh, like the rest of the industry has what I have.
Mm-hmm.
Before hitting a plateau, if we bring in innovation from the start, and you have that in the DNA, you have that in the
Yeah.
team, you have that in the company, in the business, with the team, the employees, every single employee in the business has this installed in their DNA, this innovative gene.
Mm-hmm.
Then you not only are innovative with the service, but the way you provide that service,
Yeah.
in how you work as a team, in
Mm-hmm.
the process of doing everything. And
Yeah.
so innovation is just, it's something that's necessary for the
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
It's not something you bring in when you realize there's a problem or you've hit a plateau, because
Yeah.
then that's like the worst time to innovate, because that's when you're struggling, that's when you don't have cash flow, that's
You're
when
grasping
everybody,
all over the places,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So think
So,
about it. If we're working on our health, for example, you don't want to be developing muscles, or like if you're a football player, you don't want to develop like a new technique in football while you have a broken leg, right?
right.
So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, the best
Makes a
time is
lot of
like,
sense. And I'll just back up a little bit because I absolutely believe that if we're just following the formulas that are out there and copying what else other people are doing, we're going to fall flat on our marketing anyway. And
yeah.
so building our marketing from that inside out and really back to who we are, our unique stories, our unique pathway, kind of align what you've already said, is such a more powerful way to start. And I love that you're talking about bringing innovation in all the way through, right? It's like not just applying it later on. What are some of your best ways to bring innovation into the conversations with your clients and innovation into how you work with your clients? Tell us more about that.
Well, there are several things. It's really starts with the business owner, the
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur, really
Uh-huh.
has to have this mindset. And it's not something that you develop overnight, especially if
Mm-hmm.
you came from, like, I have some clients that came from the corporate world.
Mm-hmm.
And the corporate world really follows routine and
Totally.
sticks with
Yeah. That's a
rules.
lot of my clients are former
Yeah.
corporate execs and they're learning to be in a much more multidimensional space, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And so I encourage and even train my clients to hold these workshops, internal workshops where they're constantly questioning every single thing they do. And we start the sentence with like, what if?
Mm-hmm.
What if there's a better way in doing this? What would it be?
Mm-hmm.
What if, all of your clients left tomorrow? What new product would you decide to sell? What
Mm-hmm.
product, when I say product, I actually mean service, because I work with
Yeah.
service-based businesses,
Yeah.
right? But what offer do you wish, if we could stop doing today or selling or offering today, what would it be? Which
Yeah.
part of the offering, which part of the service? Things like this. We would come up with various questions to ask ourselves, which like we don't ask ourselves enough. Like most
Right.
people don't ask because
We
there's
just
just
do
so
what we do all the time, and then we get stuck in that pattern.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's really the mindset of an innovator is a mindset. It's curiosity.
Yeah. It's
You
funny.
really have
That was the word that was on the tip of my lips as well, as curiosity, because to get curious about what works. Let's try this. Let's see if this works. Let's market in a different way. Let's
yeah.
get curious about if we change our messaging to this specific client base, this soul client that we're looking to serve,
Yeah.
what happens, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. I love it. I totally, totally love it. Let's talk about mental toughness. I know this is something that you work with your clients on. How do you help your clients develop mental toughness? Because
Well,
it's, I mean, I'm going to even back up, because as entrepreneurs, we have all the stuff that happens, right? And if we're really soft in what's happening in the world of our mind, and not really being diligent to what's happening in our mindset on a day-to-day basis, we can go down all kinds of rabbit holes. I mean, it's just, that definitely can happen. So how do we really shift that up?
yeah. Well, really, it goes back to that word curiosity. Really love the
Mm,
word curiosity. And especially in the coaching world, we really love that word, right? So, when I'm working with my clients and helping them develop mental toughness, which is like it's confidence, it's commitment, it's challenge, and it's control, right? It's control over your life, it's control over things that happen in your decisions and your emotions and all of that. um, I think it goes back to curiosity, and then it's about change, because humans were programmed to really dislike change. We like
mhm.
certainty, right? There are some of us that have this part of our personality where we do like innovation and we love being spontaneous, but not everybody is like that, right? Um, and I definitely see that in clients that have been in the corporate world and then they're transitioning into the entrepreneur world, where the money is now my money that I'm spending. It's not the company's money anymore.
Right, right.
So that's like it's kind of like shifting from being risk averse to taking calculated risks. And
Mm,
that part where we're helping them practice innovation, helping them practice creativity and ideation, that helps with the mental toughness as well, because that's like getting them out of their comfort zone and challenging every single thought and belief that they used to have. Because in
mm,
order to have an innovative mindset, basically at the foundation level means that you are challenging every single rule, every
yeah,
single thought, every single belief that you like. If you have this thought, oh, that will never work, or people have thought about that before, nobody's made it happen. Like if you have that kind of thinking, you never innovate, right? Because
right, right,
it keeps you stuck doing the things that you've been doing before. It keeps you where you are, and like as a human species will never evolve if we think that way, right?
right.
So I really help them challenge their own thoughts and try new things. So
Yeah.
it can start from like small things in the business,
Uh-huh.
and we're constantly innovating. So the process of constantly innovating is already getting them to see why it's important to get out of their comfort zone and tackle new things and find new things. And on the offering and product development side, we're always having new ideas in the pipeline,
Right.
right? You
Right.
don't need it. You don't need these new ideas, but that's how we practice the
Mm,
innovative mind.
yeah.
You're constantly thinking about new ideas. And we even do workshops where we're like, hey, say for example, today you have a new business, all of you, like you're working in this business, but say you have a totally different business. Like
Right.
what products would you be selling? And
Right.
the funny thing is, like the interesting thing is these ideas, even though they're thinking about a totally new business, usually we get some answers and some ideas that are applicable to their current business.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's just so many questions that we can ask and be curious about, and it's almost like we're playing like children. That's why
Yeah.
children are so innovative,
Yeah.
right? Because
Right. And it's,
they
I
don't have
love
those.
that, because if we're in this space of just in the play and the curiosity and saying what if and going deeper with it, new ideas start to come up, and that things that we may not have ever even thought of. And so
Yeah.
often our thinking brain will just instantly shut that down.
Yeah.
And when we can really take that into, there's no bad idea, no bad, thought that's going to be coming up here. I mean, I think from a facilitation place, when I've been a facilitator in the past, um, it's like there's no bad idea. Let's just go. Let's take an idea and go with it wherever it's going to go. And as business owners, we can do that same sort of thing,
Yeah.
to listen to these ideas that pop up and not instantly shut them down.
Yeah. Sometimes I would even ask the question like, let's come up with the strangest idea possible. Who
Ooh,
gets the strangest idea wins. That can
yeah,
really flip their thinking. And yeah, that is something that we really need to practice in order to be more creative, more
cool.
like more innovative.
Excellent, excellent. So you help your clients really develop these world class solutions for their customers, right?
Yeah.
And when when they're doing that, what happens from the success side of that? How are they really succeeding with that? What's different?
You mean what's different with
Yeah.
the solution?
Well, yeah. Well, and their end results for the company, right? So
Yes.
is there like, okay, I've taken this approach from a different perspective, and you're really helping them, develop a best solution for their market that's, not out there. What happens for your clients' businesses?
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely growth.
yeah.
And we do a lot of testing, of course. So it's not like we're going to get it right the first time. There's a
Hmm.
lot of editing. So we put it out there, we offer it to their current clients first and
Hmm.
see
Hmm.
their feedback and, what's working, what's not working. Then we evolve from that. We edit
Yeah. I
it.
love that good feedback system that you're developing in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, it's a constant feedback loop.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, the majority of people do not want feedback. Like if we're not intentional about it, this is a really
Right.
important word, right?
Yeah.
Intentional. If you're not intentional about like collecting NPS score, Net Promoter Score, if you're not intentional about gathering feedback, like real feedback,
Hmm.
I really have to say real feedback because like
Hmm.
as a consumer, there have been, businesses that have reached out to me, hey, Nita, as a customer, as a client, please give us feedback.
Hmm.
But I would say not a lot of people are really doing the correct process of gathering
Yeah.
feedback. They're
Yeah.
asking a question and it's a leading question, leading me towards the side of giving positive feedback.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
because as humans, we don't want to hear the bad news, right? We're just
Yeah.
programmed that way.
Yeah.
So, the questions that you ask matter, how you show up to the interview matters. The like, do you really want to hear the negative feedback and the constructive feedback that
Right.
will be commenting on your work? Like, you have to show up with a mindset of really wanting to hear the truth.
Hmm.
And even though it triggers you, even though you don't feel good about it, and that's why I really encourage to use it someone external,
Yeah.
like not someone in the team. um Definitely, when we go through this process, it's like constant improvement,
Hmm.
constant development. So, yes, definitely your clients will be happier with the work that you're doing,
Yeah.
with the solution that you are providing for them, right?
Yeah.
And so that leads to a higher NPS score, Net Promoter Score. And we know that on the Net Promoter Score, on that scale, if clients are giving you a score of 9, 10, that's what we're looking for.
Uh-huh.
That's those are the promoters, right? People are
Okay.
quite surprised to learn that, oh, if they give you a 7 and 8, that's like called that's a passive
Okay.
client.
Yeah.
They're not going to tell anybody about your business because
Yeah.
7 and 8 is just okay. It's
Yeah.
just okay. It's just like,
Oh, that was going to be my question. What's the range there? So I'm glad you answered that, because I've used that for my Ignite conference, my Extraordinary Women Ignite conference that we do every year. We're on our 9th year of doing that this year. And so it's, we use that NPS score in
mm,
the feedback. And I always love getting it back and seeing that. So
yeah. So
yeah.
the score is actually coming from the equation. You take the people that give you a 9 and a 10, which
Mm-hmm.
are called the promoters, and you minus that percentage, that score that you get from the 9 and the 10 with the detractors. So the detractors are people that give you a 0 to 6.
Okay.
And the people that give you a 7, 8 don't matter. They're just like not
Because
in
they're
the
just kind of, so you're looking for the difference between the upper and the bottom, but you're not really paying attention to the middle one because
yeah.
they're so
They're
neutral.
not going to do anything. They're not going to do
Yeah.
anything. So the
Yeah.
promoters are going to go tell their friends and family, hey, you got to come eat at this restaurant, for example. And the
Yeah.
0 to 6, these are the people that are going to tell people, like
Yeah.
20 other people, like how bad this business is,
Yeah.
like never buy from this place. And
Yeah.
so we don't want that people to give us a 0 to 6, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what we look at is how do we get everybody to shift to the 9 and the 10?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in order to get a 9 and 10, you have to provide exceptional service. That's
Yeah.
how
That's
you
so good.
those are raving fans, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like if you every single business, think about it. If every business got obsessed with that, got really obsessed with how do we get every single client of ours to give us a 9 and a 10.
Mm. That definitely changes the customer experience, right? Because
Yeah.
that company is going to show up for their clients in such beautiful ways.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, this is really helpful because as I mentioned, I am redesigning we're really digging deep into our customer service and how we are, working with our customers all year long. So
Yeah.
this has given me some really great insights into thinking, what are the ways that we make it even better? So good. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. So where can people learn more about you, Nita?
Well, I think the best place to go is my website.
Mm-hmm.
At nidalear.com, there's also a free quiz that you can answer just a few questions. It will give you a like kind of free business blueprint,
Uh-huh.
customized for your business.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so you can
Nice.
do that at nidalear.com. Scroll to the bottom, there will be a free quiz there.
Cool. That's excellent. And the final question we always close with are what are three pearls of wisdom that you'd like to leave with us today?
Three pearls of wisdom. Gosh, I have to choose. I have to choose. So, would you like them to be more about business
It can
or
be whatever you want them to be, coming from your heart and soul.
okay. Well, I always talk about, and this is kind of like my business slogan, it's awaken your truth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that applies to everything. And my agency actually came up with that tagline for me because when I was doing this like whole day workshop with them and talking about my branding and my personal branding, Dane, which was the guy was he was doing the branding for me. He said, "Well, Nita, you keep talking about awakening your truth. Like you talk
Mm,
about this concept, whether you're with everything." And that's true because when I'm talking in terms of business, awakening your truth means looking at the leaking pipes in your basement, and everybody wants to look at the amazing living room, like, look how amazing it is. Look at my business results, look at my sales, and nobody wants to look at the leaking pipes. Nobody wants to look at that feedback.
yeah.
They want to kind of brush it under the rug. But for me, I have this strange concept that says, if it's not broken, then break it. Just break it apart. Let's see what we can make out of these broken pieces. Like, you don't want to wait for your business to break. You just, I don't mean like break the business, but I mean
But
like,
dig into it.
let's dig into it. And a lot of people say like, well, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. There's no problem. Why do we need to innovate or think of something new? No, like we want to break all the pieces apart. We want to, there's no problem. Find a problem. We're going to make up a problem and we're going to be creative and we're going to be innovative about it. And so I feel like awaken your truth is an advice that I would give everyone,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's about your business, your life, your relationships, everything. Because
Yeah.
when we avoid looking at the truth, eventually it will come back to haunt you, like you can't escape from the truth.
Yeah.
And so self-awareness and introspecting and looking at the reality in your life and in your business,
Mm-hmm.
I think is extremely important. And that's the starting point to self-development. It's the starting point to innovating and growing your business
Mm-hmm.
and making more impact in the world.
Yeah.
So I would say that that's like the most important advice that
Okay.
I would give anyone.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what number 2 and number 3 should be. I talk a lot about self-esteem and mental
Mm-hmm.
toughness. So I
Mm-hmm.
think those are two frameworks or concepts that most people don't know what it is actually, like the real definition of self-esteem, of mental toughness, but you can Google these things up. Self-esteem, there are 6 pillars to developing your self-esteem. And mental toughness, there's like 4 core elements. And
Right.
when you go read these things, it's not too complex. When you study it, when you read about it, it's applicable in everything you do in life on a daily
Mm.
basis,
So
right?
agree with that.
Yeah, like for example, life control
Mm-hmm.
is one of the elements in mental toughness. If you wake up today and you make a decision and you stick to it instead of, going and doing something spontaneous that's not useful, you decide to do the hard thing that is aligned with who you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's life control. You're practicing life control. You're one step closer to building, increasing your mental toughness, for example.
Yeah.
So understanding these concepts is really helpful because it really breaks down the elements of how you would develop or build this thing. But
Yeah.
when you
And on a
understand
daily
it from like,
basis, right?
yeah,
You're
yeah,
working
but
with those concepts every day.
yeah. And when you understand it on an abstract level, okay, self-esteem, what is it? Like you don't really
Yeah.
understand what it is specifically, then it's harder to build. Like how do
Yeah.
I build my self-esteem? But when you understand, oh, it's these 6 pillars. Oh, and this is what each pillar looks like on a daily
Mm.
basis and in,
I like that.
each relationship. And
Mm.
it seems very academical. I have an academic background. I studied social psychology, my PhD for 3 years. I just quit this early this year because I think I got everything out of it. I didn't want to do the research. So that really helped me think from a very practical and like looking at different concepts in personal development and in business and breaking it down into pieces and like, okay, what
Mm-hmm.
is this? What is that? So I think
Yeah.
that's a useful advice that I often I give all my clients, but randomly I give it to my friends and people that I meet as well.
Yeah.
And the third piece would be really clear on who you want to be. I know this is kind of like a jargon question we ask in the coaching world, like who do you want to be? Who do you want to be, right? But I think it's a question everybody should be asking
Yeah.
themselves. Like who
I
do you want to
agree.
be? Because what it makes things so easier in business, in life, in everything. Like who do you want to be as a parent, as a person, as a human being? Like what do you want to do for this world? Who do you want to be?
Yeah.
When you're able to have clarity for the answer for that question, all the decisions, big or small, become easy to make
Yeah.
because you just need to make the decisions that are aligned with who you want to be.
Mm. I love it. I love it. And I love the twist on that. Who do you want to be versus who am I? Because that who do you want to be is it's guiding your choices.
Yeah.
I mean, I love who am I,
Instead of
but I
making a
also
decision.
they're really nice complementary questions.
Yeah, because most people will make a decision based on who we are today,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that doesn't move us anywhere, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so true.
Yeah. So good. So good. Well, Nita, this has been such an insightful interview. You've shared so much of your wisdom. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I love
You
this
bet.
conversation.
You bet. It's been fun and great to get to know you as well.